Achieve and thrive, St. Louis. This is the opensource.club. I'm your host, Dick Hewlett. Missouri's infrastructure is built around transportation. The state's location between the Missouri and Mississippi rivers is great for the shipping industry. With 20 freight railroads in operation, the state ranks fourth in the nation. Economic growth and job creation are critical for the state, and solar represents a wealth of opportunities. I'm your host, Dick Hewlett, and during this Sustainable Life episode by The Open Source, Aaron Tchaikovsky will tell us about our solar industry. We'll be back in a moment.
You are listening to The Open Source. Become a subscriber. Go to www.theopensource.club. Add your email to the podcast subscription window. Get new shows in your inbox.
Aaron Tchaikovsky has been working for the Missouri Department of Energy since he was a University of Missouri intern. Currently, Tchaikovsky is a research data analyst in the policy group. His expertise is renewable energy, growth, and policies. Aaron, welcome to the Sustainable Life Show by The Open Source.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Good to have you with us. Hey, explain what exactly is your role with the Department of Energy? What do you do?
So I work as a research data analyst in the policy group of the Division of Energy, and that means I do a little bit of everything. We do a lot of public outreach, so answering public questions, doing different events where we educate the public, and then we also work some on the legislative side, providing information, keeping track of which bills affect energy and how they could affect Missouri residents and utilities.
That's a busy job. Energy is such a hot topic. It sounds like there's a lot of job potential there.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, according to the Institute for Local Self-Reliance, Missouri has the potential to add up to 940 megawatts of solar power, and that's kind of what we're talking about today, and that would entail about 18,000 additional jobs. So there's definitely the job potential there.
I would assume long-term prospects are pretty much the same, that this is not short-term stuff.
Yeah, we've seen gradual growth over the years. We currently have about 2,600 solar jobs in the state. Last year, there was a bit of a decrease due to the pandemic. It fell by about 1%. But in the years prior to that, we've seen steady growth anywhere from 1.5% the previous year up to like 8% a few years back.
Well, how do you get into this industry? Is there training, or how do you do that?
Yeah, we actually have a few different specialized programs around Missouri. On the engineering side, both Missouri S&T and the University of Missouri have alternative energy-specific programs for engineers. And then also on the more installation side, the St. Louis Community College and Missouri Valley Community College in St. Louis both offer solar job training through their accelerated job training program.
Well, with that kind of interest, obviously it's pretty big. How big is the solar industry?
Missouri ranks 33rd in the country. Mm-hmm. We have just under 300 megawatts of power. As far as producers, we have 109 total solar companies, with 13 of those being manufacturers and then 44 of them being installers.
You brought up the term megawatts a bit. What are megawatts, and how do they have something to do with the amount of solar business there are for state jobs?
So megawatts is a term to denote electric capacity. So technically it's how fast energy can transfer, but we use it both to measure capacity and load as just the general size. So for example, if you would relate it to like a coal plant, the coal plant in Rush Island is about 1,100 megawatts.
It's rapidly growing, and we're like, what, you say 33rd in the state? Is that where you...
33rd in the country.
33rd in the country. I mean, so it sounds like there's a lot of room for growth. Is the state coming along? What's the deal?
Yeah, just as in jobs, we're kind of having steady growth throughout the years. If we look at St. Louis specifically, they have grown pretty well. I think they grew 8% or 10% last year. Kansas City grew about 2%. So there's definitely a steady growth around the state, as well as utilities who are adding more utility scale solar. And then even businesses are adding solar. For example, the IKEA building in St. Louis, they have a megawatt of solar panels on top of their building.
Wow. So there's growth, and we're kind of in the low end of the country. Where do you see us 10 years from now, a decade from now? What's going to happen?
I think solar will continue to grow. Like I said, it becomes much more cost-effective for utilities to use it as in their energy mix. And then also for residential customers, we don't see these super long payback periods where it kind of becomes unreasonable for someone to put solar on their own house. We're starting to see that come down as well. So with those two things, I think there will continue to be a steady growth of solar and hopefully some more jobs as well.
It's real cutting edge stuff, and it's got to be exciting. What do you really love about your job? Is it connecting with the state of the art, or what exactly?
I really like reaching out to the public and helping them answer their questions and kind of educating the public on different solutions to their problems. I think that's the most exciting part, is someone bringing you a problem that you never really have thought about, and you get a chance to think about it and do some research on it.
And it seems like solar is really pretty much the answer, huh?
And solar is definitely one of the answers. There's a lot of people who are interested in it.
Wow, that's a lot of information to take in. It's very exciting, and there's a lot of stuff I didn't realize, like megawatts and the growth that coming in the state. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
You are listening to The Open Source. Become a subscriber. Go to www.theopensource.club. Add your email to the podcast subscription window. Get new shows in your inbox.
Aaron Tchaikovsky, thank you for your time. Any last words for you?
No, I just really want to thank you for having me on, and hopefully we put out some good, helpful information for people.
I learned a lot. It's important for state residents to know what the solar industry can offer in terms of education, energy savings, jobs, and training. We covered a lot of that ground. From what we learned from you, Missouri is actively involved in growing all aspects of solar because it helps us fight climate change while also boosting our economy. Thanks again, Aaron.
Thank you.
We've added resource links to our website, www.theopensource.club, for anyone seeking more information. I'm your host, Dick Hewlett, and this has been a Sustainable Life episode by The Open Source. Thank you for listening, St. Louis, from the team at theopensource.club.